Does body count matter? Stay on because I'm going to reveal a few surprising truths about it. Hey my love, it's Magda K here. Welcome to my channel, the place for you to get all the tips, insights, and techniques to enjoy the most fulfilling, intimate life. And so today I want to answer the question whether you should be concerned about the body count. Now, what I'm going to share with you are certain facts and certain conditioning and how it impacts us today, not whether this is right or wrong and whether it should be this way. So, whether body count matters or not depends if you're a man or a woman. So let's talk about men first. Traditionally, for a very long time, we have judged manhood through the lens of three things. How strong you are physically, how strong you are, how big you are, how much money you're making, how successful you are, and how many women you've had. Again, I'm not saying this is right, and in fact, there is a lot of conversation these days to expand the understanding of being a man, because limiting it to just that is really toxic. But because this conditioning has been present for generations, both men and women judge men through the lens of these three things. That means that if a man had a lot of lovers, he's actually perceived as this manly, masculine man. He becomes more attractive, more wanted, and more desirable. So for a man, in many situations, a higher body count actually helps him in dating. Now we have this really interesting dynamic with women. So when a woman meets a man who's had a lot of women before, it's like we get challenged, we get this opportunity that he is going to change for me. So women often go for men with higher body count because they want to change him. Like they want to feel that for me, he's gonna change his ways. And if you look at Hollywood, if you look at the books, even 50 Shades of Grey, which is a book about King and BDSM, you have the same stereotype. You have a guy who's had a lot of women in the past, then he falls in love and suddenly he's monogamous, fully committed and exclusive. So women have this fantasy to the point that if a man is just like good and like, you know, maybe more conservative around his sexuality and then he falls in love with you and gets into the relationship, it's almost like that's not enough. He needs to first have a lot of lovers and then be with me. Then he truly loves me. So of course, this is toxic, this is unhealthy, and we need to be mindful of this. But the reality is that quite often, if a man has been with a lot of women, this makes him more attractive. Let's look at women and what type of conditioning do we have here. So for a very long time, a woman was expected to be a virgin. And if you think about this, a husband, well, he kind of could cheat. In a way, it was almost expected. And if he ever cheated, his wife just had to accept it. If a wife cheated, she would bring shame to the whole family and she could even be killed for that. So a woman was expected to be extremely modest in her sexuality. Now, we've always had sexually open women. Often these would be prostitutes and literally a separate class. Now, men would visit these women, but a respected man would never marry such a woman. So the conditioning for many, many generations has been that a sexually open woman is considered to be low value. So today, this is still working against women. If a woman has had many partners, she is perceived as lower value. Now, there's another dynamic that happens here, is that men often feel threatened by a woman's sexual past. So he thinks that if she's been with a lot of men, that, can I satisfy her? Will I be able to be better than those other men? And quite often, men have this, pride thing and they want to be your best lover. It's a whole different thing competed with maybe 3 men versus competing with 10 or 15. So a lot of men will be scared to date a woman who has had a lot of partners because of that. Another thing that someone will look at is that if she's had a lot of partners, then he may feel like it will take extra work for him to be able to satisfy her. And truth is, some men don't want to do it. So if he can just be her great lover without putting much effort, he may actually prefer that. Now, like I said at the beginning, I am not saying that this is right. I'm not saying this is how it should be. This is just the conditioning that we've all been exposed to that is still impacting our psychology. But I do want to share my own thoughts on this. So I'll start with this. If someone indeed has had many sexual partners, it does say something about their sexual desires and needs. So this person probably has a higher libido, they do need more sex, they probably need more variety. So if you're someone with lower libido, maybe this would not be the best partner for you. But also, if you're someone who has a high libido, then it may actually be a good thing if you know that someone you're interested in has had a lot of partners. But putting this to side, the way we judge men and women should actually be opposite. And let me explain. Now, of course, we're all different, we're individuals, but generally speaking, if a man has had multiple lovers, it means that he doesn't necessarily want to fully commit. It says that he doesn't necessarily want to invest a lot into a connection. He can get sex with minimum effort, with just giving that much, and he's happy. So he probably will not change. Even though it's women's fantasy, chances of him changing from what we consider this bad boy or a womanizer, a player, into a committed monogamous man, the chances are rather low. So for all the women, you really would be better off just choosing a man who's been more modest in how many women he's been with before. Now, the other way around is also interesting because quite often women end up having a lot of sexual partners, not necessarily because they want to, but we are conditioned by highly sexualized society that if we want a man, we gotta offer sex. And very often women end up having sex way before they truly want to. So sex becomes a bit of a tool for a woman to get love. Then also women often say yes to different sexual fantasies, such as threesomes, not necessarily because they want it, but because a guy wants it. So her sexual past may not necessarily fully reflect her sexual needs and what she needs in the bedroom. And trust me, for most women, we would happily trade our sexual past for this one great, secure, loving man. So the tip to men that I would like to give you is you're not competing with the sexual partners that she used to have. You're competing for her heart. If you can give her the love that she desires, it doesn't matter how many men she was with before, she will still choose you. So I'm curious to know, what do you think about body count? How do you feel about it? Are you someone who has had a lot of lovers? Have you ever dated someone? Or maybe have you ever chose not to date someone because of that? I think it's a great conversation. And because times are changing, this conditioning is changing, I think it's really important for us to talk about it so that we can make space for some new dynamics. So love, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe to my channel if you would like to get more videos like this one. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram if you want to connect with me a bit more and get some personal updates as well. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you next week. Bye! Hey love, don't forget to check out the School of Intimacy. Get access to all the insights, skills, and techniques to enjoy the best intimate life. You'll find over 50 hours of content and courses on topics such as tantric sexuality for women and men, non-ejaculation, full body orgasm, communication and conflict resolution, spicing up your sex life, sexuality types, and so much more. We have courses for men and women, singles and couples. Plus, live Q&As with me and monthly quests. Enjoy healthy, long-lasting relationships. Get your needs and deepest desires met. Feel sexually fulfilled. Experience deeper intimacy. deeper pleasure, and more love. The School of Intimacy is the only school that teaches you what actually matters in life: relationships, love, and sex. And now you can try it risk-free for 7 days, free of charge. Join now